Hey guys, so I'm back with another video. On my Instagram I said that I was going to do two, but I ended up doing one because I kind of figured that the first one wouldn't amount to anything. So this is the part one or part two or three to the transformation dress series that I'm covering, and this one I'm going to be talking about different methods of how your transformation dress will transform. Um, for the dress that I did here, I did a method called a skirt and jacket method. All these methods are actually kind of I made them up. I made up the names kind of so it could coordinate to kind of like how they'll transform. So with the skirt and jacket method, it's as simple as it will look like a skirt and jacket, basically. So this red jacket, well, the bodice of the outer shell. Let's put it that way. The bodice of the outer shell kind of looks like a jacket. So the bodice of the outer shell will look like, will be similar to what a jacket would be. Um, for detachments, or you can use anything, snaps, zippers, whatever you feel comfortable. I wouldn't use a zipper, but I mean, some people will. It all depends on your design and what you're gonna try to accomplish. I used Velcro up and down the um, the center of the bodice because it will be easier to rip. I also use kind of like a softer, the hard piece of the Velcro. I use like a softer one of those, so that it won't go against me when I use it. Um, the only one that I used for like a harder piece would be like at the bottom, because that's where my waist is, and that's where I wanted to look kind of like I had a smaller waist, because the design of it is kind of like a peasant shirt, kind of a peasant style shirt, kind of tucked into a black belt. And if you notice, the design is, yeah, it's based off of Pokemon. So yeah, and with this method, it's probably one of the easiest methods that I've kind of researched. It's one of the easiest methods to start off with, mostly because the instructions on how to do it are pretty straightforward. You don't really have to do any intricacies or anything like that start this in order to start this project. One thing that I do suggest, especially when if you're like at a con or some type of event where you have to walk around, or you're traveling somewhere, like walking somewhere, I would suggest to add snaps along the bottom of the bodice, just so that it'll hold the skirt. You don't have to, but I only do it just for safety measures, just in case the skirt kind of like falls, because you don't want to show the inside of your dress till you're ready to show it. So it's just always best to have that there. Okay. And for the skirt, what I did was a simple kind of like a rectangle skirt, and I made it, and I think twice my waist. I made the length twice my waist, and used a drawstring so that when I go to pull it up, I could just tie it around. I tie mine pretty tight, but you know, that all depends on how you're gonna do it with your design. You could use, I would say you could use any type of skirt method, like circle skirt, rectangle skirt. You could do a pleated skirt. It's all up to you. But you'll definitely want to have it so that it's twice your waist measurement, just to Because as you can see with this dress, I have this that I have to put inside of the pouch, and I have the lining and the actual skirt that I have to put inside of the pouch. So you always want to make sure that you have everything, you can get everything in there evenly, and so that it looks nice. So to show the skirt for this, I'm gonna lay it across here. And so as you can see, you have this that you have to put in. You also have this lining, not the lining, but you have the skirt that you have to put in. You have the lining that you have to put in. And then this is the pouch. Well, this is the outer shell skirt and the pouch right here. And so what I did, I took my ribbon, I made a channel, and these are the snaps that are going to be connected to the outer shell bodice. And so when you're ready to put on the outer shell skirt, you can just pull it up, make sure everything's tucked in nice and evenly, pull it together, tie it to your desire. I tie mine's really tight. And I think I said this in the video before, but the pouch, you want to make sure that the pouch and the skirt are, I made it 4 inches. You can make it 2 inches, but you want to make sure that it's shorter than the lining so that it doesn't show through, which is also why I had to cut the string, because of course, originally I didn't want it to show, but when I went to go put it on, it looks fine, so I kind of kept it out and put like 2 set of rhinestones on it. And as I said before, you want to make sure that the skirt of the outer shell, the pouch of the outer shell are twice your waist measurement. And I say that because in the end, you're going to have to like gather it and put it and attach it to the bodice, which will it will give it a nicer look, and it will also make sure that everything is in there. One factor that I have, so this is a prototype. Even though I will be using it for a cosplay, it's kind of like a prototype type cosplay. I do plan on making more in the future. I don't know which ones I'm going to use and which method I'll use, but I do recommend that you get fabric that doesn't wrinkle easily. The fabric that I have wrinkles pretty easily, and it shows. So it's best to kind of, I guess, find a fabric that won't wrinkle as easily or as much. So that's what I can show you for the skirt and jacket method. But I don't have any actual examples of any other methods like on hand with me, because like I said, I just started creating transformation dress. So there are other types of transformation dresses that I've kind of studied, which are tearaway pants method. A tearaway pants method is it kind of resembles what tearaway pants, the use of tearaway pants are. The outer shell bodice, the detachments will be at the shoulder and at the side. You can also keep it at the shoulder or just keep it at the side. It will all depend on the design and what you're trying to accomplish. But the end result of it is that once it detaches, the skirt will be held up in the bodice. So there will be no pouch for the outer shell skirt. It will all be held in the outer shell bodice. And so once that detaches, the skirt for the inner shell dress will fall, and you will have revealed your inner shell dress, basically. I haven't really. I've come across multiple ones on like Google. If you type in transformation dress, there's like one on the runway where a lady kind of like rips the top of her dress and out pops another one. That is a good example or a close enough example of a tearaway dress. No, tearaway pants dress. Um, with that one, you do also have to be sure of the type of fabric that you're using, especially some people kind of like to go with like a very like out there type of style. I wouldn't use something that kind of like sequins or ruffles just because I feel as though it would get caught and the or not caught but like it would show through the sides. But it all depends on what your design is. Another thing about when you're designing or coming up with the method of your transformation dress, you want to make sure that your transformation dress is practical to your design. So certain designs, like like red and blue, they kind of go together in a sense. You don't want your method to clash with your design. So if I were to be making a if I were to be making like my Pokemon dress here, this is actually like Hannah Alexander's Charmander, by the way. But so that's why I say Pokemon dress. So if I were to make a Pokemon dress, I probably wouldn't use anything like a flash method or a Cinderella method, which I will tell you later in the video, because it just doesn't go with the design. The skirt and jacket method I did because if I were to like put it on and put on the skirt, it would show that it's kind of like a poofy type skirt, which resembles the form of a Pokeball, which is kind of like what I was going for. Not really, but really, I wanted the skirt to be a little bit more close to the body, but it turned out that way, which I was fine with. And so when I what is the word that they use in Pokemon to, or when I when I transform, it will show this dress, which is a more I guess form fitting type dress, more sleek type dress, which again is a nice approach to a transformation dress and the style of the transformation dress. Another type of method is a drawstring method, which I feel as though is probably one of the hardest methods in my opinion. The drawstring method is the use of a drawstring like I use for the skirt of my outer shell, except this will hold all of the outer shell, and you can what I've found is that you can either put it at the neckline or you can also put it at the waist that will hold the outer shell dress and skirt. When it drops, um, I guess let's put it this way, a more practical design for the skirt of a drawstring dress would be kind of like a bubble dress, so that the inner shell skirt will already be inside of it and it will already have like an even kind of flow all the way around the skirt, so you don't have to really worry about making a pouch. The skirt will double as a pouch and as a skirt for the outer shell. And so when it detaches, when you pull the drawstring, that will drop the bodice of the outer shell. It will also release the skirt for the outer shell, and it will reveal the inner shell dress. I say that this is the hardest because it will all depend on your design, but I only say that it's the hardest because of how it's going to look. Because there's only so many dresses out there that will actually give you a nice style with a bubble dress type skirt, and depending on what you're gonna go for the top, the style has to kind of accommodate to what you're putting on inside of the inner shell skirt. Um, so if I ever come up with a design for it, I feel as though Ariel would be the best design, seeing as she had to wear like the rags, like I guess the boat sail rags and the rope. But then again, I don't know what will go under that or how that will go afterwards. But it's a journey to look into. Uh, so the next method, which I mentioned before, is the Cinderella method, and I went with this one because of in the classic cartoon movie, it showed when the grandmother was transforming her dress, Cinderella was already in a type of poofy A-line ball gown that she was gonna wear that her stepsisters tore up, and so what she did was with the when the godmother twirled her magic and she had the little pixie dust, it kind of went into a more poofier dress, more of a ball gown type dress. And so that's why I chose the name Cinderella and the Cinderella method. So it's basically one poofy dress to another poofy dress. And the way that would work is it's kind of similar to the skirt and jacket method, only except it's not. In a way, this method will encase the pouch will be on the outside of the dress. Um, and so since the pouch is on the outside of the dress, that means that the skirt that you're going for will probably have to be, because you don't want the pouch to kind of just be dangling all in like taking up half of the dress on the outside. So you just want to have it kind of right a mid thigh, really. And so when it detaches, it kind of flows nicely. You could also put it on the inside, but I feel that that's kind of a bit harder, seeing as though that you will also have a petticoat under there. Or you could put the petticoat on the inside. I don't really know how that's gonna go. Really, because like I said, I've only researched these things based off of what I see online. I haven't really come up with an actual design for these things, so I can't really tell you guys that's how it's going to be and that's how it is. I would just say take this with a grain of salt and kind of run with it in your own in your own mind, because like I said, I'm only sharing this because I can't find much on transformation dresses, so this could probably help you guys start out with, oh well, what's the best way to do a transformation dress? And so here we are. So with the Cinderella method, as well as with the bodice of the outer shell, uh, I would say you could either put it at the side or you could put it in the front. And this will kind of help hold the pouch of the dress. And so when you break it apart, it will show the outer shell dress as well as, I'm sorry, not outer shell, the inner shell dress, as well as the inner shell, well, it will show the inner shell bodice and the inner shell skirt. Depending on your design and what you're trying to go for, I would say to kind of, you could go as extravagant as you want with this one, because like it's a ball gown, you want to have it be very extravagant, but you want to make sure that your designs lay flat on the dress. So what I'm saying is like trims, gold trims, if you were to, if you're going for like an aerial look, I know she has a ball gown. I think she has a ball gown. But if you're going for an aerial look, I wouldn't say like decorate your whole dress in seashells because that's going to show, and it's a very tight transformation when you're in a Cinderella dress. So kind of make sure that your dress is very practical with the design, basically. I believe that this is the last one. The last transformation method that I have is the flash method, and the flash method is also kind of related to the skirt and jacket method, except this method will go all the way down the outer shell dress. So that means it essentially is kind of like one of those big shirts that people wear, the big button-up shirts that people wear, but it go all the way down. And the reason why I call it the flash method is because, you know, when you see people flash, they kind of when people flash one another, it kind of just rips open and reveals all that's inside. Um, This method can go one or two ways. You could have the bodice be attached to the outer shell skirt so that it hangs under the inner shell skirt dress, or you could have it detached all together, kind of like the skirt and jacket method here, where it's not attached to the skirt, but it will come off altogether, and you can kind of discard it however you please, and it will reveal the inner shell dress. As of right now, I would recommend to have it in the front rather than like any other side, just to give that impression of I'm flashing, I'm flashing you. So yeah, that's the best way, or that's the best way I've come up with it. Um, I'm sure that there are probably multiple other methods out there that you could use for your transformation dress, but these are just like the top five that I've seen multiple times that you could use, and they're easy for beginners. Besides the drawstring method, I would say like probably like after one transformation dress, you'll kind of figure out, okay, well, instead of using this, then I'll use this, and I'll use this method. Um, as well as make sure you keep a handy dandy notebook beside you so you can take notes, because transformation dresses are not easy to come by, or like not many people know about them. They're pretty, transformation dresses are pretty straightforward once you kind of break it down, but at the same time, it's just best to have as much information as you need, coming from a person who has done it, or coming from a person who has some type of experience in it. So that's why I made this video. So part 3 would be talking about designing your dress. Even though it's kind of my dress is basically done, but this will be talking about what you should have. It's either gonna be 3 or 4. I don't know. This will be talking about what you should and should not put on your outer shell dress, and what you should and should not put on your inner shell dress. And the only reason why I say should not is because certain things can show through the dress. Like if I were to have something of this size, or of this kind of something similar to this, and I want to put it on the inner shell dress, it can show through, kind of. This is a bad example, but still, it can show through. and you don't want to have that. So that's why I will be making a type of design video to show what you could put on uh, your dress and what you should not put on your dress. So that's till then. Once I feel as though I have the time to make a video. Bye bye.